Hi, good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you all are getting set up. I'm rolling out the mat, getting ready for gentle yoga to release the low back. And to slow down. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, sister. Yay, you joined. Hi, Mom. It's like the perfect morning to do yoga outdoors. There's like a cool breeze in the shade. What's it like in Texas? Sunny, hot. Hi, everybody. Oh, hi, Michelle. Thanks for coming back. I'm gonna wait just another minute and see if anyone else joins. Sometimes we get started and I see people joining and then I don't know who's there because I don't get up to look. Hi, Dad. Hot in Texas. Yep. Oh my gosh, you guys, we got news that our pool is gonna open after all. I'm shocked. I am stoked. I can't believe it. Hi, Sharon. It's like a glimmer of hope for summer with the kids. It's amazing. All right. So I'm sure you all saw the summer schedule rolls out today, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Good morning, Bev. 10:30 each day, and each day of the week it's going to progress just a little bit more. So every Monday you can expect it'll be gentle yoga, great for beginners. So if you have any friends or family that want to try yoga, encourage them to come on Mondays. And then Wednesday it will be mindful movement and meditation. So probably a bit more flowing and more like level 1, 2. And then Friday is going to be a pretty quick pace flow class with level 2 and 3 movements and postures. So that's the new schedule. I'm pretty excited about it. I hope you guys are too. And let's get started. We are going to begin on our backs today. This class is designed to release the low back and to kind of slow down, go inward, really tap into our breath. So you're going to lie back on your mat. Feel free to have a blanket over your mat if that helps with support. But you're going to lie flat and draw your feet to the edges. We're close to the outside edges of your hips. And then we're going to place the palms right on the abdomen. And you're just going to rest your head back. Notice my knees are going to fold in together so that it relaxes any effort in the legs. And what that also does is it releases your abdomen. So oftentimes we can unconsciously grip the belly, especially when we hold our breath. So when you can just release the legs and let them rest toward each other, the pelvis widens, the abdomen softens, the palms are on the abdomen for a sense of grounding. And we're going to close down the eyes here to settle in and to kind of set the pace for the class. So even though I'm sitting back up, make sure you stay on your back, gazing down your nose or close your eyes. Take your awareness to your back body, the skin of your back, and when you exhale, visualize your back body softening and relaxing into the support of your mat and the floor, the ground. Let your inhalation Be natural and soft. Continue to visualize the backside of your body and feel the weight of your hips, the back of your pelvis, kind of like it's spreading and opening into the support. Feel the softness of your abdomen. Feel the softness of your natural breath rising and falling. And perhaps you can hear some things around you, near and far. Maybe the mind is being pulled to something more external, and when you notice that, catch it and take your awareness inward. So scan your body if that helps. Look for any areas where you're kind of gripping. Notice if you might be holding your breath or not breathing fully. Keep dropping into your inner space, because with our practice of yoga, we're cultivating more self-awareness, self-reflection. So we go inward to slow down, to let the body and the mind have a break from the chaos of the external or the disruptions of our calm and our peace. So we're tapping back in. The specific pose that you're in on your back with your knees bent and your feet planted and your palms on your belly has benefits for reducing anxiety. The beauty of yoga is like we don't have to try very hard to really get a lot of reward from the practice. The practice is the reward just by showing up on the mat, becoming more self-reflective, feeling the breath, and then many, many benefits come our way, physically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. So before we begin to move, sense the space of the heart for a moment. Deepen the breath into the heart space. So feel how the ribs open as you inhale, and how the heart softens as you exhale. We're going to tap into a bit of gratitude to send out into the world. So think of someone that brings you joy. When you're in their presence, somebody that makes you feel good and joyful. And then energetically or through prayer or through just a vibration, send that person some gratitude. Send that out into the world. As you feel that sense of joy that is within you, when you think of that person that brings you happiness, maybe you even feel how the corners of your mouth naturally lift a little bit when you feel that sensation of being with that person. Maybe you get butterflies in your stomach or flutters in your heart. Let's carry that with us as we begin to gently move. So exhale and open your eyes softly. And then lengthen out your left leg on your mat and grab hold of your right knee. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, bring your nose up to your knee. Lengthen that straight leg, and then rest your head back. Twist your knee over to your left as you open your right arm and gaze past the right fingertips. Smile to yourself as you deepen your breath in the belly. Inhale, come back to the center, and exhale, draw that nose and knee toward each other. Ground your left femur bone, and then rest your head back, extend your right leg out, draw the left knee in, squeeze that thigh in close. On an exhalation, bring the nose to the knee. Inhale, rest your head back, twist it to the other side of the body as you open your left arm and gaze left. Feeling the breath move through your body, all the way down into the belly. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, knee and nose together. Ground your right femur, and then rest your head back and lengthen out that leg. Now we're going to sit on the backs of the hands for support for the low back, and we're going to gently draw the knees in and up. Extend the feet nice and high, and exhale, lower your heels toward the floor. Right before they touch, let's bring the knees in and up. Legs straight up, open the toes. Arches of your feet together, heels together as you lower your feet down. And a few more times. Exhale as you lower the legs. Inhale as you bend the knees and straighten your feet up. Exhale. It was like one of those double helicopters. So we're doing this to strengthen the psoas muscle, which stabilizes the low back. Go ahead and let your hands come out. Open your arms wide, palms face up, and you're going to exhale your knees over to the right and turn your head and look left. We're going to link the movement to the breath, so inhale back to the center and exhale other side. Now notice if your shoulder blades want to lift, if your opposite shoulder blade of which direction your knee is going, if it wants to lift. And we really want to keep the shoulder blades grounded and not worry about the knee hitting the floor as much as we want to keep the shoulder blades grounded. And that gets the max twist of the lumbar spine. Drawing the belly back toward the front of your spine when you twist. And then back to the center. Take hold of your knees, and we'll gently rock up and down, massaging your back body. And then coming all the way up, cross your ankles, come into table pose. All right. Before we have any movement in table, we want to stabilize and strengthen our base. So you want to open the fingers super wide, and you want to feel the underside of your knuckle opening as well, right? Pushing down evenly through the hands. And now become aware of the action of your belly and your waist and your feet. A lot of times the lower body in table just kind of goes and like drops, and there's no energy. So if you push the tops of your feet into the floor, you'll feel the belly engage, and you'll get stronger through your arms and your hands. And then we can walk the left knee to the center of the mat and extend the right leg back, and then the left arm forward. Gaze right down toward your right thumb, and get longer as you inhale through the side of your left ribs and back through your right inner thigh and through your big toe mount. Now exhale, lower the hand down and the knee. Reposition your right knee more in the center line. Tap the top of that foot and then left leg back. Equal effort through your arms before you lift the right arm. Everything working evenly through each limb. So we're not dumping into the left hand. We want to draw the belly in and up, and then exhale and lower down. Now start to sway your hips side to side, back and forth. And then we're gonna pause with our hips over to the right side and turn your right ear toward the shoulder and look back at the outside edge of your hip. Take a full breath. Move through the center, hips go over to your left, turn your head, look back. And then back to the center, and we're gonna sit back on the heels. And if this doesn't work for your knees, you're gonna come to a seated cross leg or grab a chair and sit up in the chair. Working some kinks out of the neck. Sit nice and tall, feel the space between the floating ribs and the navel. Open the collarbones, shoulders down the back, and then we'll take the right ear over the right shoulder. Feel a full breath, and then tilt the chin up toward the ceiling or the sky. Chin down toward the collarbone. And then ear back over the shoulder. Let's take the left arm up toward the sky and release the weight of your head again. And now cactus that arm. So bend your elbow and draw the elbow slightly back, and then the chin slightly up and back. Oh, and feel the release of the neck. If you don't feel the release of the neck, then move your chin a little bit or move the elbow and shoulder until it feels right for you. And then we'll straighten up that top arm, and it's going to release down toward the hip as the head comes up. And then left ear over left shoulder. Notice if your opposite shoulder starts to lift. And if so, visualize the collarbone lengthening out, and then that left shoulder drops as well. Chin up toward the sky. Chin down toward the collarbone. Ear right over the shoulder, extend the right arm up. Feel how that shoulder blade opens behind you like a wing wrapping externally, and then cactus the arm. Play with the movement of your chin, your shoulder, your elbow, until you feel like you get a nice stretch or release in the right side of the neck. Arm lifts straight up, and like the fingertips are getting longer, they reach as you pull yourself back to seated position. Straight up and down. How does that feel on the neck? Let's twist to the right. So your left hand to right knee, wrap that right arm behind you, and look back over the shoulder. Inhale, look forward, and exhale over to the other side. Inhale, look forward, and exhale, sit tall. If you're kneeling, come to seated cross leg. If you're seated cross leg, flip the direction of your feet. If you're in a chair, just readjust, sit tall. And let's open the arms out to the side. And we're gonna flip the palms face up and roll the collarbones back. Yeah. Then from the elbow to the palm, internally rotate and take your right hand down to the ground, left arm straight up. Look out for this right shoulder climbing into the ear. It will want to do that, and it causes tension in your neck. So bend your elbow, weight in the elbow, open space between the ear and the shoulder, arm open. The head can do almost anything here. Sometimes if my neck is stiff, just feel the weight of the head. Other times it feels really good, so I would look up past the fingertips. Ground through that left sitting bone so that it doesn't come up off of your mat. That will give you the max stretch in your low back and side body. Inhale, come up. Exhale to the other side. And again, watch out for that bottom shoulder climbing into the ear. Bend the elbow, drop the shoulder, ground through your right sit bone now. And get nice and long through the inner right arm. The fingertips grow even taller. Breath is smooth. And inhale, pull yourself back up. We'll cross the ankles again to just come forward to all fours. And let's walk the hands up onto the hips and take the right leg out to the side. Let's bend the knee and straighten it a few times so that it's like you're feeling this femur bone come into the hip socket, okay? Then, as we straighten the leg, we're gonna lift the femur up and down. This is getting mobility in the SI joint, so it's kind of awkward, but look at the hip. It's like you wanna bring the head of the right hip bone up, and then you wanna drop it down. Up and down. This is key for all of the standing poses, is to have this mobility here in the hip so that you can get the max length of your spine. Okay, now we want to drop the femur and have it down in the hip joint to then reach out over the thigh with the right hand and left arm up. Relax the weight of the head and play with the right position for your top arm. It could be here. It could be cactus and leaning back. It could be inner arm by outer ear. It totally depends on how you're feeling in the current practice. Not the same every day. There's a slight action in the glutes. That's to lengthen the low back and protect it. It also draws the navel in and up. And then we're gonna pull with that top arm, come back up, lower your hands, bring that knee in, and then left leg out. Let's bend the knee and move that hip back and forth and the whole leg. Then straighten the left leg and take the head of the hip bone and pull it up, and then down, and then up, and then down. Down. Now, when that femur bone is down in the hip, reach out with your left ribs and hand and stretch the side body. Play with your head and the weight of the head, the shape, the position, as well as that top arm. Where are you most comfortable, where you are getting a good stretch, but you can breathe fairly easily? Anytime you feel like the breath becomes restricted, you might be trying to go a little too deep. And inhale, come up, and exhale, hands to hips, knee in. Let's go back to the first side. Right away, drop the head of the femur in the hip socket, lengthen the arms, and one full breath over here. Squeeze the buttocks as you inhale and come up, and then exhale, take this left hand down to the ground, and let's move this top shoulder, top arm, keeping your back left foot grounded as well. And then switch directions. Now, top arm is straight up, and we're gonna float this right leg here. Yeah. Visualize the crown of your head lengthening away from your hips, and then reach the sole of your right foot away from your hips. Belly in and up, tailbone long. Lower that foot down, push off the ground. Inhale, come up, and then knee in, hands to hips, Left leg out, femur descends, and side body stretch. So good for your low back here. As long as we're squeezing the glutes just enough to lengthen the tailbone down. Inhale through the center, exhale over to the side, and big sweeping circles with the top arm. Switch directions. And now a shape like half moon pose with the top arm straight up. This left leg, the heel, stays right in line with your buttocks as you lift it. That back foot grounds into the floor, so does the shin bone. And then we're creating as much space between the sole of the left foot and the crown of the head as we can by really utilizing the breath. Feel your breath. Then lower the foot, push off the right hand, pull with your top arm. Come on up, hands in, knee in, and then we're gonna open the knees wide and come into child's pose, Bakasana, dropping your forehead and resting it on the floor. If you're a beginner, you might have to take your forehead to your fists if it doesn't drop all the way down. This is a great opportunity to tap into some abdominal breathing. So really expand the belly into your thighs as you inhale. And drop the weight of your hips into the heels as you exhale. And inhale, look up, come into crocodile by taking the jaw and placing it in your palms and looking straight ahead with a soft gaze. Thinking again, remembering again that person today that brings you joy, brings you happiness. Feel that in the pit of the belly. Smile with your eyes as you sense that emotion, feeling, sensation of being with that person. And then walk your hands out in front. Lift back to table so you're in all fours. Tuck your toes and we're going to walk the hands back and we're going to come into a forward fold. So the hands walk back, the legs begin to straighten. I'm going to turn to the side because it's not important to straighten the legs yet. We want to keep the knees actually bent and have the ribs touch the thighs if possible. And then we're going to grab the elbows with the palms and shake the head yes. Shake the head gently, no. And then just relax the weight of the head. Maybe you even feel your neck and your spine release a little bit and start to gently straighten one leg at a time and rock side to side. Now let's take the hands to the hips. Visualize your tailbone tucking under and feel your abdominal, lower abdominal area engage. And then inhale and come on up to stand. Now we're gonna come back into that hanging forward fold, but with a wider stance. So you wanna open your feet to the edges of your mat, or if you have long legs, past the edges of your mat. And we're gonna pigeon toe the feet. So now bend the knees and feel how your weight kind of absorbs up and down through the feet. Hands are on the hips. We're gonna roll the pelvis over the head of the thigh bones. This comes really natural for a lot of people, and for others, it's a really hard thing to tap into. So that's why I'm going up and down, because we're rolling the pelvis. So the pubic bone rolls down, the tailbone comes up, the head of your hip bones roll over, your navel is coming between your thighs, and then we're coming into a hanging forward fold. You can hold the elbows, you could let your hands dangle, you can hold your ankles, whatever feels good. And then tap into the breathing and tap into the softness of the abdomen. If your legs are shaky, which happens, visualize just grounding into the four corners of each foot. Think of that and lifting your sit bones and breathing and feeling and staying present. Now we're gonna round the spine as we come up. So let your arms hang and then push into your feet. Bend your knees even more as your hips drop so that you can stack the vertebrae one at a time. Come up. Roll back your shoulders. We're gonna do a spinal release. So you can have your feet hip distance apart, you can go wide. I'm gonna show you from the front. At first, we're going to go forward and then we'll go over to the right and then the left. So it looks like this. I'm gonna kind of turn to the side. Knees are bent, we're rolling the pelvis. So it's like the navel, you keep the chest up, finally the chest, then the chin, then the forehead. And then you come up, one vertebrae at a time, open the chest, bend the knees, and roll back down. So begin whenever you're ready. Visualize your skeletal body if possible, and sense the bones of your legs really strong. Feel the pelvis kind of widening when you go forward and sort of compressing as you stand tall. Notice how the ribs open and then contract. Visualize the spine extending and flexing. And then shift your ribs over at a diagonal to your right and hinge over your right leg. Same movement up and down. This is a spinal release. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do this, so if it feels awkward, don't worry about it. Just keep flowing up and down. We'll switch over to the left. Bend the knees as you fold, and they slowly straighten as you stand tall. This is a cool movement because you can not just visualize the skeletal body, but you can visualize your organ body, the fluid body. You can just kind of feel your life force moving, breathing up and down. Or maybe I'm just kind of a weirdo and that's my experience. So we'll come up, we're gonna stand tall in Samasthitihi now. Samasthitihi, even standing, palms together, collarbones wide. This time the collarbones twist backwards. Feel the length between your navel and your ribs get longer. And then release the hands down. I'm going to turn my mat sideways. If yours is straight, turn your mat sideways. And let's start some standing poses from Tadasana. So standing tall in mountain pose, step or hop your feet, your leg distance apart. We're gonna turn the toes to the right. You want the back toe in front of the heel, definitely, and the front heel matching up with the back arch. Now, remember this whole femur thing and mobility in the SI joints? Let's try that again. I'm going a little fast, but take your hands to your hips and then let that right femur drop, and notice this side of the hip comes up, and now go back the other way. And again. Okay, now reach with that right arm, and as you reach, this femur's dropping, this arm is reaching for a chair, the seat of a chair, or your shin bone, or your top of the ankle. Now take your left hand to the shoulder and roll it back. Keep the shoulders and the hips in line, and then arm up. What happens a lot when we're beginning is the mind says, oh, I'm deeper and more advanced in the pose if this hand is down on the ground with my foot, but then this top arm will hinge forward and the butt will pop out, and then it's not really yoga anymore. It's more like, I don't know what. But we want to keep opening through the heart space, opening the chest and lengthening the spine. So in triangle pose, the head, the shoulders, the hips, the feet stay in one plane. Press into the soles of the feet. Inhale, come up. Lower your hands. Exhale, turn your toes to the other side and get the back toe in front of the heel. Match your front heel to the back arch. And then start to play with the mobility of the hips. We want to keep them mobile. And then we're going to lift that left arm. And as that left femur drops and this right hip comes up, we can find more length coming into Utthita Trikonasana. Keep observing the breath. Getting longer and taller with every inhalation through your inner thighs, between the tailbone and crown, your inner arms. Getting stronger and also softer as you exhale. Push evenly through the feet. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lower your hands. Back to your first side. We're going to repeat it with a lot less words. Inhale, come up. Exhale, set up the feet, set up the legs to your left. Exhale into the pose. Inhale, come up. Exhale, arms down, feet forward. Zigzag those feet in. Stand nice and tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. Now, hanging forward, fold. We're going to pigeon toe the feet. They're a little wider than hip distance. And before we forward fold, we're going to work the action of the legs to widen and broaden the back of the pelvis and have that mobility in the sacrum as well. So make sure your toes are pointing inward, and then take your hands to your upper thighs and help your inner thighs roll inward. Right away, you'll probably feel kind of like some toning over here, right? All around this area. Keep those thighs moving inward. Now inhale, lift your chest, and you can help the thighs move inward again as you forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees if your back is really tight or your hamstrings. We'll hold the ankles this time, and then release the weight of the head down. Notice if you let go of the effort in your legs already and you're just kind of hanging in your feet, and re-engage that effort of your inner thighs moving inward. Now you can feel the sit bones reaching upward, and then the feet grounding downward. Create a slight wishbone action where it's like your inner bones are moving in the direction of your outer leg, and feel the back of the pelvis broaden. Then hands come to the hips. Press down through the soles of the feet. Lead with the crown of the head. Inhale and come up. And then step to mountain pose, Tadasana. Feel the crease at the top of the hamstring and the bottom of the buttocks. Feel the belly in and up. Now widen your feet. Coming into warrior two, turn your toes to the right. There's a bit of a wider stance this time. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, drop the right knee over the heel. Super important to not have the knee go past the ankle. Okay, it's not a big deal if it's back behind it, but not past the ankle. And then we're lengthening this right inner thigh, but we're also lengthening the left inner thigh. Breathing deeply into the chest area as you widen the collarbones. You lengthen the fingertips. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Lower your hands if you want to rest your arms as you turn your feet to the left. Get the back toe in front of the heel. Inhale, lift those ribs. Drop the shoulders as you bend the knee. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Open through the toes. Engage the arches. Let the breath move up and down the spine. Inhale, straighten the leg. Turn your toes to the first side. Inhale, breath lifts the arms. Exhale, you drop into warrior. Think about that person that brings you joy, so you're not thinking about the legs and the arms. Thinking about that happy, joyful place. Straighten the leg, turn your toes. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the leg, turn your toes forward, hands down, zigzag those feet in. Step 2, Tadasana. Okay, widen your feet. Not a full spread apart pose, and just a little bit, I guess. So here's hip distance, here's a little wider, a little bit wider. Okay, pigeon toe your feet. Internally rotate your thighs, lift your chest, and maybe you bend your knees as you first roll the belly, and the chest starts to lower, then the chin, and then the head. You can hold the elbows, dangle your arms, hold your ankles, whatever. Lift your sitting bones high. Internally rotate your thighs, inner thighs, and relax the weight of your head. Now, hands to the hips, tailbone under, inhale, come all the way up. Step right back to mountain pose. Yes. All right. Now, let's go into side angle stretch. So step your feet wide, toes over to the right. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, drop into warrior 2. You can descend the head of this femur bone, perhaps if you've been doing yoga a while. Then take your right forearm to your thigh and left arm alongside your ear. We're getting super long through the left side of the body. That outer left foot is grounding down, and it's like you have mat repellent on the inside of your left leg as it kind of repels back up. There's a slight twist in the ribs as you look back past the armpits. Push off that front leg, pull with your top arm. Inhale, come up. Turn those toes all the way around to the other side. Exhale, warrior 2. And then Parsvakonasana, side angle. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands down, toes forward. Step 2, mountain. Stand tall, feel the space between the crown and the soles of the feet. And now spread apart pose. Pretty wide stance with your legs, a little bit wider than one of your leg distance apart. Hands to the hips. We're gonna inhale and lift the ribs. And then fold with the pelvis. Pelvis, pelvis, folds. Hands come down. Inhale, come up to a flat back and stay right here. Okay, so the head is lifted because we're dropping the dorsal spine or the thoracic spine down toward the heart. So right between your shoulder blades, let that drop. Engage your legs boldly. Don't dump into the knee and the ankle. We want to press the inner leg toward the outer leg like you're separating your sitting bones. Ground into the feet. Feel the abdomen totally engage. Now exhale and relax the spine and the weight of your head and do whatever feels natural in the upper body. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to the hips. Tuck those sit bones under. Inhale, come back up. Zigzag the feet in closer. Stand tall in mountain pose. Feel the breath moving, rising and falling. Feel the corners of your mouth gently lift. And then we're going to come down to the floor, onto our backs. So actually, I want you guys to watch this next thing first. So just stay wherever you are and watch, and then I'll talk you through it on the ground. So I'm going to come down. The purpose of what we're going to do next is to increase mobility in the SI joints. And if you're not sure where those are or what those are, the back of the pelvis has two little joints right here for the sacrum. So your sacrum is that diamond fused vertebrae right here, and on either side is a joint where the head of the femur bone and the hip kind of connect. So we want to keep mobility in that, or increase mobility in that, as we deepen our practice. So watch for just a quick moment. We're going to come down. We're going to take this knee close in to the chest. Okay. Notice I'm going to hold the knee, and with a lot of concentration, I'm going to start to move this outer hip down in the direction of that heel. So I'm really exaggerating the movement right now so you guys can see it. So I'm saying, like, move your sitting bone toward that heel, and then draw your outer hip up toward your ribs. Okay, this is so good for releasing your low back as well. So go ahead and come down to the floor if you haven't already. Grab one of your legs, pull that knee in and up, and you can interlace your fingers in front of the knee. That extended leg that's straight is strong. So have your the eye of the knee pointing straight up. Now move that sitting bone toward the extended heel, right? And then pull the outer hip up toward your ribs. If you're not seeing or feeling any movement, just keep working toward that. Okay, it will come, definitely. It could be just like you're not tapping into it today. It could be that stiff. Don't overthink it. Just kind of keep practicing up and down. Okay. Now you can keep the knee bent here, or if you're flexible enough to grab your toe and straighten the leg. Okay. And continue that movement. You might be somewhere in between where you just have to have like a bent, you can bend the knee and hold your foot and still create that movement of up and down with the outer hip. You don't necessarily have to have a straight leg or fully bent. It could be in between. Now we're going to open the leg out to the side. So put your opposite hand on top of that straight leg hip, like the top of the hip, and then open up the side we're working on, but keep the opposite buttocks and shoulder blade on the floor. Now, like I said, this side can be totally bent knee if you're really new. You could have it somewhere in between or straight leg. No matter what is going on with this leg, bent, straight, whatever, halfway, we are doing our best to descend the head of the femur bone in the hip socket, down toward that opposite foot. We're breathing. We're twisting the opposite body toward the opposite side of the mat. We're going to inhale to bring that leg back to the center. Everyone bend your knee and draw the knee and the nose together. And rest your head back. Extend that leg out on the floor. Take a moment to observe left to right, especially in your hips, the back of the pelvis, and your legs. And then we'll switch sides. Opposite knee comes up, and we are moving that hip, the outer hip, up and down, like visualizing the sitting bone moving up and down. And then decide if you're going to just keep working this bent knee, or if you're going to try to catch that foot with a bent knee, or if you're going to try to do it with a straight leg, gently moving the head of the femur bone up and down in that hip socket. And then this opposite hand is going to ground the opposite femur bone down, reminding the buttocks to stay grounded as we open this leg out to the side, out wide. This is really nice to do on our backs, because then we don't have to ask our back to stretch in order to do this pose. You can also do this standing. Let's inhale and bring the leg back to the center, and exhale it down slowly to the floor. Oh yeah, and relax. Let's bend the knees and plant the feet. Open your arms wide, and we're going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Back and forth. Okay, so let's have the knees go over to the left side first. Now, we're going to pick up, let's see, the left foot, and the outside of the ankle is going to come on top of the outer right knee. Okay, and then you're going to have that top foot push into the outside of the knee, but then you're pushing the outer knee up back into the foot for 6 seconds. It's an isometric for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now release and let the knee get heavy, okay? And like you're lengthening the thigh bone down. Now isometric again. So outer left ankle into outer right knee. Push them together firmly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now release. Stretch that out. Oh, it might even get closer to the floor. And one more time, isometric, like you're hollowing out your right inner thigh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release. Drop that knee. And now we're going to slowly switch sides. Actually, before we switch, just let this right knee come up and plant the foot, and we'll do that figure 4, figure 8, I can't remember, stretch, but we're going to pull this right leg up. You can hold the hamstring or the shin bone. And stretch the hip. You can rock side to side. Massage your back. And then we'll let go and switch sides. So plant your feet. They're a little wider than hip distance. And we're going to fold the knees over to the right. Now that bottom foot, your right foot, the outer ankle comes to the top of the left knee, and we're going to do the isometric. So the outer ankle and the top of your knee, or thigh really, above your knee, push together firmly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now release And let that top ankle get heavy onto the top of your thigh. Now again, isometric, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release like your thigh bone gets longer. And one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and release. All right, let the knees come up toward the sky, plant your left foot, reach through and grab that hamstring or the front of your shin. If it feels good to rock a little, you can rock side to side. And then relax that foot down, place your right foot down, heels back in toward your ankle or your outer hip, sorry, and then palms flat on the ground. Inhale, lift the hips high. Do not turn your head to look at the camera, so head stays straight up. Interlace your fingers. You can rock side to side with your arms and pull the shoulder blades in toward your spine so that you roll to the outside edge of your arm. Work your feet evenly. Squeeze the buttocks and breathe. Sarvangasana, variation bridge pose. Release your hands, roll the shoulders out from under you, slowly come down with control. Feel the low back, one vertebrae at a time. Relax your knees together and take your palms to your abdomen. Close the eyes just for a moment. This is a wonderful place to stay. If you want to do one more pose, you can roll into halasana as though you're kind of doing a backward roll. The palms can stay planted as you bring the knees in and start to roll the legs overhead. You can hold your back with your hands. If you do this, we want to keep the hips lifting up toward the sky. So you don't want to crunch, like let your legs collapse on your face because it crunches your diaphragm. So keep your tailbone lifting up for now. Thighs up toward the hamstrings. You can interlace your fingers perhaps, rock side to side to get a little deeper and off of your neck. And when you're ready, come back down. Palms on the abdomen. Knees resting together so there's no effort in the legs. Close down the eyes. Tap into your heart space and that place of gratitude and stillness. Watch your breath return to its natural pace. Feel how the body begins to recover. Blood flowing from head to toe. Feel free to stretch out your feet and open your palms. Allow your back body to be heavy and drop into the support of your mat. Support of the earth beneath you. Take a moment to feel the nurturing effects as though you were kind of resting in the palm of a large hand, kind of cradling you, the surface of the earth. One last time, think of that person that brings you joy and send some gratitude their way through your breath, through your intention, through prayer. And when you're ready, gently wiggle the fingers and toes. Bring the knees in and up, roll to the side. Making your way back to a nice tall seat. Bringing your hands into a prayer position. Sensing the newness of the moment, feeling the steadiness of this moment, feeling that slowed down, even pace. Thank you all so much for joining. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Namaste. And thank you for being here. Thank you for staying with it. And if you would like to leave any comments, that would be helpful. Share the video with any friends. Invite more friends to join us. I really appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.